What's up, y'all? This your girl Chelsea. I go by model Chelsea Talise in the fashion industry in Louisville, Kentucky. 502 Stand Up. You all are listening to Beauty and Brains podcast, Cognitions of the Creatives. This is season 3, episode 6, National Recovery Month, which takes place in September. This is a special episode today, y'all. I have been going 3 seasons just about strong. This is the final episode of season 3. And it's been people in the creative industry, it's been friends, it's been other professionals within the mental health field. But today I got my family on here, and not just any family, my uncle, y'all, my only uncle, my daddy's brother. And so I got my uncle here, Uncle Odell Smith Jr., who is a cook extraordinaire for 25 plus years, and also is an advocate for just living a healthy, positive life. So welcome, Unc. I'm so glad to have you on. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Chelsea? How you doing, sweetie? You sounded good. That was a nice intro, too.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to tell the people about yourself?
Well, I'm 57. I'm still cooking. Living a positive life, I'm out of the way. Been out of prison going on almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Positive life. I ain't had no interaction with them at all. Living life to the fullest. That's what's going on with me right now.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, and I appreciate our relationship because it's always been so open. Like you have never sugarcoated anything about life to me, and so I immediately knew who I was gonna ask when I was looking for people for this episode, in particular, Recovery Month, because you've been sober for 20 years. I'm 30. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you was coming out of that a decade after I was born. So
Right.
I'm just really proud of you because since I've known you, you've been preaching what you're doing right now, which is continuing to live a positive life, right? Like you practice what you preach, and I just got so much respect for you, Unc, and I just had to say that before we got started.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay, then.
You my uncle, so I know the story, I know the journey, but
well, I was just listening to what you were saying. The journey started for me November 23rd, 1998.
Okay.
That's when it actually started. That's when the light bulb went off. It's like this is it. I know that God has more for me than my life than what I have subjected myself to. And it actually started way before then. And, I just made some choices because the choices led me down a path that I didn't have to go. And along in that, I always, when I got clean, I always thought about my children, Jeremy and Ashley, and my nieces and nephews, you and Joshua and Rashawn, everybody. And I always wanted my life to be able to have some meaning to it. It's like, man, to be able to tell my nieces, nephews, kids, like, hey, man, this is what I've done. And please, never want to go this way. Yeah. And it's like, not to sugarcoat it or to manufacture it in a way. I have to be honest about what I've been through, what my journey was. You know what I'm saying? So that you guys wouldn't make the same mistake, but then it got deeper. I had to get to a place where I got right. And in this process, a lot of people fell off, and I did too. Sure. Because it made me revisit and it got deeper into, who I was and why I made the decisions and whatnot that I did. And thank God that I was able to have a few questions, answered. Because along this journey here, man, I hurt a lot of people. Yeah. That's the thing, and is that even though I prayed and I asked for forgiveness, I have forgiven myself. Some people can't. I'm 57. I'm not 16, 17, 18. 20. Because my journey has been up and down from a guy that, started out just selling little weed and just selling dope. And I'm, dealing with people, in that field. And, I can't say nothing without saying something about my old dad and having who was brought up in, brought us up in church. I had to make it was like, I can go this way or I can go that way, but I admire my dad. And in the process, with a lot of people, when you realize this is going on a lot today, like, stuff you see on TV. The most person that I revered and I respected and I loved, I feared was my father. To my dad, my pops, right now, 85.
Shout out to Granddaddy.
Yeah, he gave me a whole lot. But he was born in 1949. You got to remember. 1940, so his mentality about when he come through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, all that uplifting of my man being a man, it was kind of distorted in some ways. It has some value in other ways because he taught me to be a provider and all these things, but he lived a life, man, that was of a hustler. Shoe shine, spot, he did his thing.
Yeah.
And
Granddaddy was a PIMP.
Yeah, well, sometimes. Me and your brother, he raised me and Odell like he trusted us. People in the street he didn't trust. He's the kind, that taught us about, you learning back roads and before you go to your house, take these rides right quick, to show, follow you and stuff. We didn't know how deep he was until we started to get older. Me and your brother, Verdi, we knew about triple beans. If I was 12, he was 10. I think we was 11 months apart. And, he was right there. Verdi didn't like a lot of the stuff, I was just amazed by it, Verdi, we didn't want to be a fireman or a police officer. And I wanted to be a hustler. We seen things we should have seen that led up to me making those decisions. And when those decisions came along, I had already been smoking weed and doing those different little things. And, feeling that I was strong enough and, emulating my father, not knowing I'm getting away from me. I'm not being Odell Jr. I'm trying to be the next Bosco or the next, his name, but he got it a rep in the streets. Along, the way, it was like, what, your dad ain't in these streets no more. You out here.
Wow.
So I started to make my own name, man, in my own ways, and it wasn't always good. But, sometimes it's good to be feared, too, at a certain time because then respect is earned. And that's just the way it is in the streets, what I'm saying?
That's right.
And one of my regrets is not being able to be a great dad, too. All of that led into it. But, drugs stopped me from being a father. I didn't know how. I started early. I was 16. I was fighting it. I don't even remember having sex with the girl, but I can't deny Jerry, but that's over.
Shout out to Auntie.
Your grandmother was dying of cancer, and that's how I was dealing with it. Smoking weed, cracking, you dig, while Verdell was indulged, in sports.
And remind me what age Granny passed?
Verdell was 14. My sister, older Rob, she had graduated Southside, which is not up anymore, though. She was 18, 19, because she was born in 65, 68 years, so it's 3 years. She's 3 years older than me. She had just graduated, man.
And you was how old?
I was 16.
You was 16. How old was Daddy?
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were all dealing with it. Mom, I had a plan, I know, because she knew she was getting sick. She moved us. We went to Monumental Baptist Church in Memphis, Tennessee. And she moved in a house down the street from the church that the church owned. And moved, because we stayed in the Winds of Nines called King's Gate. It's, drugs tore that place up. We moved to a house so we could be close to the people who she thought would help us continue on our journey in faith. But my mother, she never denied, I love her for this, she never denied me and Verdi spending time with my dad. I don't care what it was. You dig what I'm saying? He came and got us Friday, we gonna come back to Sunday, that was cool with her. If he came at 3, 4 in the morning on a Tuesday, hey, y'all get up, y'all daddy outside. She allowed my daddy to be a daddy. You know, we didn't like it, you know, but it happened. But he was always, you know, in a teaching mode. We was always learning something with him, and we always, you know, we had the best. We never want for nothing, you know what I'm saying? But we had to earn stuff, though. You know, we had to clean his dirty house and all. But see, what we learned about getting allowances and stuff, people weren't doing that. And with Mom, you know what I'm saying, we would come home, this is going to be funny. We come home like, hey, all this money Dad gave us. She's like, what? So what y'all do? Oh, we just cleaned this house up. So Mama would give me and Verdi $20 out of our money and take the rest of this. I'm going to put this up. So me and Verdi, we stayed there a couple of times. I said, man, we will never see none of that money back. I said, man, I ain't telling Mom I got no $300. I'm telling her I got 100. So she take 80. I'm still good. You know, I'm like, yeah, but you find out later on because Mom was, you know, she was very independent. The guy that she was dating at the time, I never liked her. But he had left her when she got sick. I thought that was just a coward to me.
Dang, yeah, that hurts me.
He should stay with her, you know what I'm saying? But he left her, and I always, you know, to this day I forgive her, but that's still a sour memory. She wasn't asking people for nothing. Mom knew how to work. She worked for the state, and you know she knew how to save, but she was doing it by herself. And so we know the money that we worked in the summer that we gave her our checks, man. We knew once we got older that we were paying bills. You did what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we didn't see, you know, we did get to do good things. You know, we went on trips with the church, Disney World, and all these different little things, which my daddy paid for. But that money, anything that we wanted to do, we did. Me and had everything, and Robin, you know what I'm saying? Everything, man. And but I think in the family, because of who I was, mine was a little different.
Okay.
Odell and Robin were real close. And when I went back to when I really looked at my life when I was going through, like in recovery, says there's the 4th step where you do inventory. You have to look at not only what you did, but how you felt other people had treated you. And what I did was I delved into a lot of things. That's you know what I mean? I had to go back to being that guy at 12. You know what I'm saying? I had to go back to being 10. I had to go back. You know what I mean? I wanted some questions, you know, because it wasn't easy for my mom and dad. Because I used to be left at home at a very young age. You know, my dad's alcoholism and his lifestyle being in the street, he was violent. He was violent. You know, he had anything. He was violent. It was crazy. Like, you know, one minute this joke is the beautifulest person in the world, but then, you know, I'm the kid that my dad was violent to my mom.
Wow.
I am the son that put burned garbage cans in the house, as well as outside of them. I'm the kid that flooded the toilets. Like when he would fight, I would do anything to get him to stop. I had to go back to remember being under bed trying to get away from him. Taking antennas off the TVs, you know. I was so disruptive at a young age that, you know what I mean, thank God that I can remember my dad and my dad at least that we're not putting him on no medicine. They thought something was wrong. It wasn't nothing wrong with me. I was reacting to what was happening at the home. And see, those are the questions that I, you know, as I got older, I would have wanted to ask my mother.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, damn, Mom, did you know what I mean? And, you know, to be able to address those things, man. But I rest solitude because I know my mom know who my daddy was when she got involved. She was 22, 27. She knew what type of cat he was. But he's a charmer, too, now. See, that's facets to who,
I said what I said. I said what I said.
So, as I was in recovery, man, I had to revisit all those things. And, you know, you go through man, a range of emotions is not even what it is. Because you relive it, I relived it, I revisited it. And along that process, being able to have someone like a therapist or going through recovery, they're called sponsors.
Or peer support.
Yes, peer support. Yeah, for sure. Those just now started to happen.
Okay, yeah.
You go back a couple years, when it's probably already been there, but they just now started putting a name on it and to get certifications and being able to do that. I got clean. I want to give a shout out, man, to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Man, because that's where I went. I left Memphis, man, at the age of 21. In a case, both selling drugs and using drugs. And back then, they costed like $30,000 for 30 days. But they was plush. And like Dad, he worked, even though it was a hustle, Kimberly Clark. And got on this insurance, man. And when I left there, he said, you need more than this, man. So I went to Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to them, too.
Yeah.
A place down there called the Jets House. And acronym for was Get Your SIHIT Together. And, man, when I started to get out the shop, you gather all that information. I'm doing it really to be the case, but at the same time, I heard a lot of things about what a drug can take. And I stayed clean 2 years after that.
Okay. What was that like?
And, it was cool. But I did it for the wrong reason because I got kicked out of the place. You got to remember, I'm 21. Man, sexually activated the word, man. I was a whore mother. I liked it, women. I just hadn't been in where, like, I ain't had one in a week or a month or so unless I was locked up. You know what I'm saying? Being in there, and as we all got held, and you kind of get to, knowing people, blah, 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 you're attracted to them. And I happen to have, relations with one, and she got crazy. Like, hey, you can't do all of that. And next thing you know, they put me out.
Dang.
I got so mad, I was like, I'm going to show you right, because I ain't have nowhere to go. Now, this is a true story. I got money, clothes, and I'm thinking that they're going to, if I go back to Memphis and I got kicked out of the program, I'm going to get locked up. Daddy, when I called him and told him his exact words, they don't like you, dumb, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm messing with you, bam, and hung up the phone on me. A lady of the evening approached me. She really chose up. And I went to Conway, Arkansas. Did my thing up there, and I called my cousin because stuff started to go left. And went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and went to I don't know if it was a recovery place.
Okay. Like a group home?
Because I left recovery, but I needed somewhere to stay once I decided not to go back to Memphis.
Okay.
So I went there, and this all to me is just life learned, and I'm living. And I'm a kid. This is my first time ever being out of Memphis on my own. And I learned something. I listened. I talk less, and I listen, and I pay attention. And I came up. I ended up getting me a apartment. I went a job first, working at the Grand Hotel in Little Rock, and kept going to meetings. I didn't stop going to meetings. There I could interact with people.
That's
because you're gonna, it's kind of like if you want to be a millionaire, you kind of want to hang around some like-minded people trying to be a millionaire. As you're getting clean, you have to hang around people who have been through or are going through the things that you're going through. Because when you're getting clean, most of the people, even sometimes in your family, why should I quit drinking? Because you can't drink.
Yep.
Hey, if I made a decision not to smoke crack, what the hell I'm doing trying to stay in a crack habit? It's not going to last long. So, I had to find some discipline somewhere and some order. And most definitely, it was my God and my understanding. And it's always when I decide to go on my own that I encounter all the other things. Because great job, and a beautiful woman, and was able to stay there 2 years. But being young, I got bored. 2 years, 2.5 years clean, had a car wreck, and got locked up. All charges dismissed. Nobody showed up to court. I left. I said, I'm gone. I'm leaving here. And I took my show on the road. And that's another story for another podcast. But I took me everywhere I went. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about the drug addict. I thought I was too young. I thought everything. And I did. I couldn't accept that fact. That's one of the first things in recovery as a recovering person has to do. They ask you must believe that you are an addict. Because if you don't, you can't admit that at first, I don't think help isn't going to be possible. Because when you look at it, I don't want to put, because they don't like to put it out there, but it's in the book that's in recovery, one of the oldest ones. In order to make a change, there has to be a total psychic change. Shift. You have to look up what psychic is. That's your mind. You know what I'm saying? You start to do that, all those mannerisms, those different things that you didn't know that you did. That some people say, if you may not even be smoking, that look kind of crackish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You really have to get into it. When I got into it, and I really didn't apply. I didn't like school, but after I got out and I started getting recovery, a lot of things that I didn't understand, or words when I would read books I didn't understand, because, it was explained a couple of ways. There was no need for me. It's almost like my educational stuff was really pushed down. Mm-hmm. I was so methodical in my thinking and this and that, other the street things and the things that I was doing, that everything, my vernacular, my verbiage, and everything was that. So I had to, I'm talking about Webster was my partner. If I was reading the Bible, reading AANA, every book I wanted to read, and different little things, it was a total rebuild. It built my confidence. Like I said, I got that sponsor, and it was somebody who was close or similar to that, because it was hard for me to allow another man to tell me or show me or tell me anything that wasn't my dad. That was challenging. I used to say hard. It was challenging. Yeah. This guy, and a couple of times added, he used to ride by my place when I went back to that lifestyle, selling drugs, drinking on the porch and stuff. He would ride by my spot and raise his hand up. I mean, man, why are he doing that? Like, yeah, maybe, So when I finally made that decision in November, like I said, I had a chance to, what's going on? So I need you. He said, I'm here. I said, I got to ask you a question. I said, why did you always ride by my house and always wave at me, man, want to talk? He said, man, I always wanted you to know that I was available to you when you was ready. And I needed that beacon on that road, that path I was on. Like, man, it's something that, he said, man, it's something special. But he really built up, made me feel good. Went through everything, recovery piece, we got there. And I got to the, the meat and potatoes of recovery. I didn't do any relationships. Still the reason when people get into it, man, I already got one, but in recovery, it tells you that relationships can be a painful area. It could be a trigger. Because, not only that, but the focus needs to be on you at its best. I'm total really stripping you down, and it's just about you. And then my story, catch up. I'm doing all the great things in recovery. I did catch an eye of a young lady. I had been watching, she had been watching me. She eventually became my wife. And I can remember me telling my sponsor, I was like, hey, man, I'm finna marry this girl. He was like, what? He said, man, he said, I can't say that I'm happy for you. I was like, what? I said, why you say that? He said, because my hope for you was for you to take this time to get to know who you are. And I'm like, why you say that? Because now you're finna get married. You got to get to know her. It's her mom. That's that whole. He said, the focus, your attention can't be on you and you doing everything you need to do for yourself.
And you don't have the capacity.
Huh?
You don't have the capacity.
At that time.
Right.
But then, my heart, because I'm figuring, I'm old Southern, like, man, if I just had it, because I was selling incense oils while I was in treatment because, They gave me food stamps, man. I was selling dinners on Sundays. I've been knowing how to cut hair since I was 16. I was cutting hair while other guys was buying shoes from Payless and Pages, man. I'm at the meetings selling, guys come, everything. They really try to, some of the government programs, like they would bring them to the meeting. Mm-hmm. Guys first get out of prison, they go to no store, man. So I'm selling oils, you know what I'm saying? I got soaps. I'm making a killing at the meeting, but I'm putting, stuff, almost like church. I'm getting some of them in the plate, so they're not really saying nothing. And I'm saving. I open up the bank account. Yeah. I was starting to get envious, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, they come over and ask for, man, can I get a plate of food at this time, man? It's your husband. It's about getting it. Mm-hmm. I say, hey, man, got some nice shoes on there, bro. Man, you got, boy, you was really getting up. You got 2 pages? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks nice. And you want a plate? Yeah, give me $10.99. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They got all this, so they tell you, man, look at you got this, and that. I was like, I don't say nothing, see, they watching. Mm. So you got every some shit on the street. You don't have to, answer. Because they tell you what they doing. See, every and all kind of stuff start coming, but that's what happened. Because I wanted to see the lady that I was seeing, what I mean? It kind of just happened so quick. And next thing I know, I got kicked out of the place. Mm. And, ended up moving her because I said, you know what, I'm going to go to the shelter. I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, going to meetings, blah, 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 blah. And she said, no, my man ain't got that. And next thing I know, I was there with her. And that's a whole other part of recovery because he's in recovery. Mm-hmm, he's putting her life together. Mm-hmm. And, I'm, so independent. Well, I don't really need those because it's just me in Ohio, but I'm learning to. And it was challenging to say the least. But Lord, I should have waited, as an experience. But I was able to come through all of that too. When you guys was little, y'all came to the wedding.
I remember.
And I didn't even expect you guys to show.
I remember that.
Your dad rented a van. Oh. And hey, man, you guys were little. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, a little smaller thing. Yeah. And like on the wedding was nice, but the But it's just with 2 people that you understand the reasons why. In recovery, they tell you if you're not in a relationship, don't get in.
Yeah.
So even now, right now, I'm not in no type of relationship. I'm in school. Those things still apply. Yeah. I mean, in school, I still got that Webster's, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm maintaining. My grade point average went up to a 2.67.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I've been in school for 40 years, and so everything about that time. But none of this would be possible. And me being in Ohio with just myself, when I decided to get clean, I walked away from everything, even the lady that I was dating. Mm. I had tried to get clean a couple of times, and go back to her. She had no understanding. Mm. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I consider myself a handsome dude. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't stand the fact that I was going to meetings where, other women were around. And I would leave, she don't know this side of me where I'm stepping into who I am. Mm. She didn't know I got with her. She used to this hustle. She used to this. She used to taking care of me at certain times, and I'm not really needing her.
Yeah.
She get mad when hey baby, this bill paid, here go a couple money or like, and you literally got mad. Like she used to be handling her bread and like, so I'm talking about really when you change your life, you look at those little things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now I don't no cash on me at all. All my bills I try to pay that crap online. Learning those things, man, and never forgetting where I come from.
Yes.
The challenges that I faced, the times getting along, And a lot of people, I don't know how they're going to say this, but God put me in prison for 4 years. Set the stage up for how I live today. Because even when I was clean, when I stepped away, when I really knew my marriage was over, I always had my foot. This is the story that is crazy. I always had my foot, on the right side, but I also kept the hustle side. Mm-hmm. It's like I F myself into thinking I do the lesser of the two evils. Mm. People love to smoke weed, blah, blah, blah. I could justify it all day. It's made from the earth, but at the same time, it's against the law. Mm-hmm. So now how do I want to live? Man, I've been doing this so long, man, blah, 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 blah. But you meet different people, things are different and change, and I end up going to prison. Mm. And I didn't know that but I was on probation because me being in Memphis, I didn't give people the opportunity, whether I was wrong or right, to strike me first. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. If I was scared or endangered or my antennas went up, I knew when to run, duck, hide, whatever, get out the way, and I was on probation, I think for assault and something else, Mm-hmm. Came back, and the same judge. I'm like, geez. Damn. And I was looking at the charge carried 2 to 8. I'm thinking that's my first time saying I know I'm going to prison, like whatever. Mm-hmm. But she looked at me and she told me, she said, Mr. Smith, you just can't seem to get it right. Mm-hmm. It's like you look for. I did not know I had been going in front of this lady so many times. Wow. And this is in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And here's something that's crazy about my past, that I was wanted in Memphis for 24 years. On a district charge. Yeah, it didn't happen. They didn't get their money until after I ended up getting out of prison. But I thought they was going to lock me up for it. It was an in-state warrant. But anyway, man, it's been challenging. Mm-hmm. Do a lot, and to get to where I'm at, and today.
Yeah, you got a hell of a story, Unc. You got a hell of a story, and I think I've had so many thoughts since you've been sharing your story, and so I'm gonna try to go back in order of how it was told. But
you know what? After this year, you told me about the pen and paper. Because I'm just coming off from where it's coming, and I know my story is kind of veering off. I try to come back, get it. You know what I'm saying? But I get lost. I'm revisiting because ain't none of this scripted for me. Like I told you, I started. So
I know it. It's all good. I'm just trying to keep up with my pen because you always speaking the real. So I want to go back to obviously where it all begins for any of us who have a story, to tell, especially any stories related to recovery. And how, have you ever heard of like nature versus nurture?
Yes.
You have? Okay. So every time you tell the story of you and Dad and the differences between you and Dad, you all grew up with the same parents, under the same roof, and had the same type of care, right? The same type of love, but went down 2 different paths, as you all grew up and made different decisions. And so the whole nurture part is, the fact that you all grew up in the same house again and experienced the same type of upbringing. But the nature part is what you all experienced outside of the home that molded you into making those decisions and who you are today on a psychological level.
Well, when you started to say that, that's a question that when I got out of the penitentiary, me and your brother was hanging, and I think it was the 30-year anniversary, because I had been back to my mom's gravesite since they buried her, and then your brother invited me because I wasn't going to go. Mm-hmm. But the question that he and I asked, he said, I thought Dad loved you more than me when we was coming up. Mm. And I was like, he said, man, I had to ask Dad that question. Mm. And he told me dad was that I needed more attention. Because Verdell just was more reserved. He was quiet, smart, studious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was one of the first kids that was bused out to Coleman in school. You know, he took up piano, all these different little things, but sports was his thing that he took to.
I didn't know that.
But being the oldest, and here's a backstory on that too, when Verdell was first born. Mm-hmm. See, my hair had a different texture. I came out looking like our ancestry has white, black, Indian. Mm-hmm. And my dad's side, is real strong. My mother's side is strong too, because the genes split. Because when Verdell was born, Verdell hair wasn't like my dad's. Mm-hmm. And he was so much like my mom more than him. He thought that Verdell wasn't his son. Mm. Dang. I can remember Verdell being at the top of the stairs crying because he wanted to go. Verdell wanted to be everywhere I was. I remember that. That was my guy. Mm-hmm. Man, when we started getting bigger, we did everything together, from skateboards to all of that, But he was still like he was the baby. Yeah. And Robin, kind of, he was sleeping in the room with us. I wanted to be in the room with us, but so I was kind of always by myself. But
and that's something else I wanted to mention. You the middle child. Mm-hmm. You the middle child. I think it's Adlerian theory. It's an approach in therapy that you can use. Sometimes it's used in family dynamics, but it talks about how birth order or the number of, child that you were born, what you typically have experienced, in your childhood, and how that type of attention or lack thereof, or those type of pressures that came with being the firstborn, the middle child, the thirdborn, or the only child, what that looks like. On top of, you were also experiencing abuse, in the home, right? And what that looks like under there's also something called like ACEs, Advanced Childhood Experiences, I want to say. But it calculates, the disadvantages, or maybe even like oppressions, or even trauma, sexual abuse, anything that happened growing up in the home. And it calculates what that looks like and how it can have an effect on us, physically, how it can show up on a physical level, obviously ailments, and how certain levels of trauma in your childhood can lead to early fatalities, right? Because of the way that we adapt to stress. So I just feel like you're touching on so many things in such a way. Like I'm hearing all of my family stories, some for the first time, but also like my spidey senses is tingling on the clinical level. And I know some of this might not be totally foreign to you, because you're also an advocate, within the recovery and mental health field. So
because you gotta go back, your aunties, and I can't Felicia, that's my cousins, Aunt Jack and them. When I was born, Verdell and me, we only 11 months apart. Mm-hmm. Then became cousin Larry, Verdell, LaRonda's the baby boy Leroy, because at that time, Mom didn't have a chance to really coddle me like that. Mm. What he said, all the shine, like you said, the shine was taken away. A lot of times, I think I was just more out. I was adventurous. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was one, because I was like, I think I was emulating my daddy back then, because I was hanging up on the corner with him and his cronies. My daddy had me everywhere with him. Wow. Everything was womanizing, him shooting dice. I done been when my dad was hosting a shot. I done been there.
Like you said, you were exposed.
I was exposed to a lot of things that I should have seen at a very young age.
Yeah.
From gambling to women to drugs and, all these different things. And then my dad being who he is, he wanted to raise me to be not no soft chump, that, they used to describe a man weak back then. So thank God I was raised to be a man. I am, and I had to learn, some other things. The things that I did, I had to really, in recovery, it makes you look at you. A lot of things that I would like to revisit, a lot of people aren't willing to answer. To talk about it, access to these people, man, because of how I lived before. You say they don't know now, you won't allow me to come in to sit down. It's kind of like the little paraphrase with God. He said, he's not going to do is act, he will come in, he will sup with us. And that's what I want to do with like some family members. I think you had, about a couple of years ago, you and VJ did the balloon thing for your dad out at the park. And it was great to talk to Aunt Jack and just to let her, for those little minutes that I had to tell her, because I was like, man, that's another story. But all those different little things you don't know until later when you really slow down. And if you can catch it early on and be able to have someone to walk you through, like a therapist that you're learning now, or like I said, in recovery. There are so many great people that come recovery things that end up being counselors and peer support specialists, and like even with itself within the meetings, they have speakers where like when I'm telling you just bits and pieces where they're sharing their stories too, where you could connect. Nobody, no big eyes and big U's in recovery. The thing is about, man, what can we do to help you? See, because when you take the drugs out, everything that you describe, like those traumas that happened in your child life, those people who have walked through that path can lead you from their experiences. And one of the things about it is being able to trust. So there are so many different people, believe me, just outside of the rooms where there are people who look to take advantage. You got to remember, inside the rooms, we are thieves, hustlers, pimps, crackheads, anything that you can be in there. And our mind frame, when we were in there, was about getting the next one. So all that, also how to talk to a woman, how to be slick, and all that's still there until you start to work on it. So that's really just focus on, me, and I stayed focused and did the things, and even now, all of that stuff is sharp. Man, I don't get involved in nothing at all. Right now, I'm in psychology. I'm still understanding me better. This is always there. When I went to prison, I went to school and I worked out and I stayed away from everybody. That's what I did. You know what I mean? And when I got out December 23rd, went straight to work. It's like I had never left. Some people get out and they talk like, man, it took me a time to adjust. And I did you adjust to what? Because I believe you adjusted to prison. Like I went prison. Ain't nothing I need to go back and revisit. If I could, I would most definitely like to thank that judge. Impacted my life in a way was like, man, I'm never in life going back. I handled the stuff in Memphis, man. The only thing they wanted was some money. The government really just get them their money and, man, you can get out of the way. And everything after that is doing everything I know that is right to do for myself. But when I'm doing for myself, it's going to be right for others. When you remove the drugs and I took the time to get to know who I am, talk to people constantly. Man, I love talking to strangers. I love, man, because you never know where something might come from. You know what I'm saying? And but I don't allow those things before you really. People always say closure. I think is that
talk about it.
You learn to forgive yourself and the people, even those who still don't, might not want you, who might not want me there, this and that. I got no ill will, man. I understand that, hey, my life took me to a point where I don't know you the way I want to. I don't know Joshua or Rashonda or Jessica or, my kids the way that I want to. Y'all see, those are things that still today. A lot of people say, man, I don't live with regrets. I got some.
Wow.
I'm at peace with it.
Yeah. That's real.
I always believe that when that time comes, man, I stay ready. You understand me?
Yeah.
Me and my son Jeremy, that's the beauty man about he, no matter what we was coming up, he said, Dad, I don't care what they talk about, say about you, man. And he has stood firm on that, and that has always encouraged me to stand firm too. Because I don't see the grandkids, you know. But I see them on video.
Yeah.
You see me, hey, what's up, Papa? You know what I mean? I get into that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got some regrets. My oldest daughter, Ashley, you know what I mean? My granddaughter, I have a little thing with her, but they don't interact with me. And there's a point in time in your life where you just have to say, hey, man. Because when you reaching, it's stressful on your heart, on your mind. So, you know, when you really get up, hey, God, I need everything. Because it can become obsessive. There's so much in there because I want to change this. If I can do anything about anything, I want to be able to sit with my babies that came from me and sit there and talk to them and tell them how much I apologized. And, man, you know what I mean? I can't make that up, but if I can go from right now.
Yeah.
They gave me something, and I'm going to shut up. They gave me something, like I was born in 1968. They said that dash is very important because it's not matter how you started, it's how you. And I want you and Mari and Lisa, if you get a chance to tell them, man, hey, man, Uncle Willie was a work in progress always. I think we all are.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to better myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, you know, I want to better myself, not only for me, but for those I'm around. When I talk to young people about different little things, I don't give opinions. I like to go straight on facts.
Yep,
you know, like my experience and about what worked for me.
Yeah, anytime I call you.
My opinion is this here. Yeah, buddy. Be weary.
Nah, anytime I call you, you be like, hey, Nisa Pooh, I'm going to tell you straight up.
Yeah. That's the way, I think that's the way you should be. You know, and you know, when I'm talking with you, like, you know, I thank God I didn't use no profanity. I appreciate that. But when I got you to yourself, man, I'm going to say it how it's supposed to be.
Hey, we cuss on her.
Huh?
We curse on her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was just, because, you know, that's me assuming, you understand me. Shit, I could have been wide open.
Nah, I really wanted you to say fuck jail, but you was on your story, so I let you have it.
No. I wanted to say fuck jail. I'm here. I was respecting, you know what I'm saying? Because you the damn doctor. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Doctors cuss.
But shit, you ain't saying shit else. Hey, fuck them motherfuckers. I want to see in prison no goddamn motherfucker. You hear me? Ain't nothing I learned to them motherfuckers. I got my motherfucking GED and went to school, man. That's the craziest place. And all these young boys keep wanting to go down there. Motherfucker.
God damn it.
Hey, damn it, man. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Hey, but that's who I am too, though. You got to know the balance, man. Shit, yeah.
Y'all, this my uncle. We cut up like that in real life.
Oh man, look, and that's the thing that I want. When I talk to the youngsters, you know, and I have to, if I go to a church, or if I'm at somewhere, I think that the vernacular and the verbiage has to change, because that way you're able to reach, you know, some people who you don't want to turn them off with me being so in tune to my story that I use the language that I use. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to offend or whatever. So to have a platform to be able to say actually what it is, but, you know, and people to understand, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, balance.
I get caught up and I know where I'm at, and I was respecting your platform by not using that, and I didn't know. You know, I should ask Lisa Pooh, can I go ahead and cuss it out after I just whatever, you know? So, you know, I got you.
You made up for all the words that you missed along the way, in 3 seconds, tops.
Oh, man, yeah. Because I really respect what you're doing and about where you're coming from.
Thank you.
And it's always something, man, that, have these conversations, man, with family, friends, people that you care about. One of the one things, man, that always gets me, and it keeps me going always, when I first got back, a lot of people here, family will not know that before Verdell passed, some months before that, I almost killed myself in a car accident.
What?
I flipped the van about 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
I broke my leg. And the seatbelt saved my life, but everything came down like arthritis with it. Well, after 30 days, I was once I could get up and get to moving around, I was back in Memphis. And me and Verdell didn't get a chance to connect because VJ was getting ready to graduate, and he, went out to work, and we was talking every other day, like, hey, man, what's up, man? We got to get together. I just want to holler at you. See, I had the opportunity to cut his hair and everything, you know what I'm saying? We was doing those different things we had when I got back, man. I'm glad you back, man. I've been busy, but we're going to get together. And we never did.
Wow.
So, and it's like the one question that I never, and it be there. And I think it's happened because sometimes how I saw myself, and, you're talking to a guy, man, who robbed people, who stole from people, is angry and treated people bad, and came through. Not too many bruises or nothing, heart and spirit wrecked a little, a lot. But to take my brother, man, when I got the word, I had to understand that him being a police officer, that's the call you never wanted to get. And I did that to him because this me, not you, nobody else. I forget. Because, see, I had friends who knew I was back in Memphis. You know what my phone calls was like? Man, you ain't trying to get locked up. I said, motherfucker, is you crazy? Because they thought I wanted to get to dude. They did not. I ain't got to worry. You got to worry about them letting that cocksucker out of there. But no, his ass is in there. He good. I'm going to go with motherfucker right now. But see, that's where the OC, I have to, that person that comes from there, he's sleep. I don't understand how the young folks feel sometimes. But I got to understand and know that my brother was a police officer. Now, what dude did was wrong. It was a crime. He got served for it. That's cool. Yeah. But I always say in my life, this is the one thing, as long as I'm living, they can't never let them out.
No.
And it's the same way. And see, you talking about stuff that hit families. You know who still, this is what your granddaddy said. I love him. Because everything was about Verdell. Believe it. When he looked like him doing his thing, he knew. And he said, man, I'm 80-some years old, man. He said, man, that nigga still living. Excuse my language for saying that. The dude that killed Verdell. He said, I take it life. He said, man, I live my life. That's how he feels.
I know it.
He would rather be in a penitentiary. The cool as hell knowing that he locked in, that's deep.
Business was handled.
Those his words. That's how deep. Here's a man, you got the surprise call. Jeremy got the surprise call. It surprised me and Verdell when he said, I love you. He always showed it.
Yep.
He never said it.
Never.
He said it funny. They called him 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Never says it.
Crazy. Like, hey, Dad, man, I got to go. Man, all that, you know how he is. And he gonna say anything on his mind. He don't care who it hurt.
Nope.
He don't care. He gonna be truthful and be honest. That's him. Yep. He's honest from him. He don't care who it is. He can be you who he telling trying to help. He don't care.
He don't.
And it's like, and touch on all of that. I go again. I don't want to.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so much.
Like, yeah, man. Touch on it, man. There's so much from recovery. When I talk, I go for them places. I give pieces of me. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you said some years back. I wrote on that for a minute. You said, make love go viral.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just being nice to the next person. It goes so far. Be fair. You know what I mean? All those different things is challenging.
It is.
But for those of us who decide just to go ahead, like, I'm going to go ahead on, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard because you find deal, man, you got the Tide, the washing powder, you got blah, 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 blah. Like, when you get all this stuff. See, those decisions do affect a whole lot of stuff now. At least for a person like me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Every little thing, you know what I mean? It's not like they triggers, but I don't want to get too far gone. Because it's like, my cooking thing is food for me. It's the smallest thing of, you know, the hand exchange of money. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the way I light a cigarette. Yeah. It can be different things, stuff in the air. Mm-hmm. So I always got to stay on point no matter what's going on.
And I think that right there kind of goes with the statement of you saying you have to believe that you're an addict, right? And it goes past whatever is your drug or alcohol of choice or whatever you're addicted to, right? Like being addicted to something means that we possibly have an addictive personality.
Can I tell you something? Mm-hmm. If I start smoking crack today, goddamn, everything that I got right now gone. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna want to go to work, and if I do go to work, some other shit gonna lack because I'm gonna want to smoke dope. Yeah. That motherfucker I ain't gonna stop. You understand me? Mm-hmm. You gonna lose everything. Mm. So if any person who's out there, you ever get an opportunity, man, to really change your life, man, take advantage of it right then. Because I have been able to live so many lives in one lifetime. Mm. Wow. Because of God's grace. Mm. And it's not to say this grace has, man, it's there for you. Yeah. It was there for me. Mm. But when I'm telling you, I made that decision, man, and then plus some other deaths happened. Mm. When my grandmother passed, your great grandma. Yeah. When my aunt, see, I had a cushion. Yeah, that was hard. Aunt Carolyn was my girl. She, always the shenanigans. I always knew, but I always tried to balance that. Yeah. And the way she might have put it out there might have been different, but that was my partner. And once those safety nets was gone, even though I had already been doing it, some decisions that I made along the way wasn't beneficial to me. Mm. So once all of that is gone, what do you got now? When you only have yourself? The mind had to catch up. When I got clean, I was in my 30s. Mm. And I still was thinking that of a 16, 18, 19, 20-year-old guy. Yeah. And I'm in a 32, 31-year-old body. And that's so real. Like that's so real. Like on a clinical side and on a developmental aspect, like typically we present the age that our trauma began until we correct that, or until we revisit that. Like you said, you have to revisit yourself at age 10. You have to revisit yourself, when this was going on in your life. You have to revisit yourself, you know what I'm saying, and really confront wherever those fears began, wherever those attachments began, and really look yourself in the mirror. And if I haven't taken away anything from your whole recovery journey, is finding solitude within yourself. But the part of the recovery, I think this is here, is being able to make amends. Mm. Amends with yourself. Mm. And even some amends, you have to write letters. When you in the clinical side of it, they suggested that those people who we couldn't talk to, or we couldn't make a personal face-to-face, visit with, that we should write letters. Yeah. Even if you didn't have the address. Mm-hmm. It's about being able to get those things, out and, and be honest with yours. Yeah. In that process, for me, all of that worked. Certain things with my dad, I still haven't addressed at all, but he and I, I'm by me being a working pro. He ain't even think about nothing. He was the guy, man, that I knew that he saw me being effed up, and the best way that he knew how to help me was put me in treatment. I can't act no more. The rest of that shit, as I look on life now, it was up to me.
Yeah.
But I did with what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right now, to me, it's paying off. It took a minute.
I know it.
And I'm trying to tell you, you know what I mean, all these different little things. I believe that I should be somewhere else in life, but I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
And it's such a privilege to be here to see it.
I'm enjoying it because I'm the guy that they said we're going to make it 21. I wasn't, though. I'm telling you, you know, I seen that video. I watched Odell's video. He's talking to the youth, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, he said it best in his own words, and I keep that video and I said, man, I always wanted to be who my big brother was. He said, you know, I mean, I want to say that in the video he says I've been in a gang. I never was in a gang, but I ran with a gang of dudes. We wasn't back then, it wasn't those different gangs they got now. It was school sorority, like, you know, different little sects that we was in. And I didn't go with the norm. You know, I was a preppy kid, but I was a hood dude they didn't know. I dressed prep, but I'm straight hood. You know what I'm saying? And I went inside because I didn't like that. I didn't forget what he got to do with what my dad and my mama worked at and how I dress. And that ain't who I am. You know, I went with a upstart, man, and it was all guys from the hood. Cause they wouldn't let them guys in their groups. But I grew up with them, coming out of Cat State. And Verdell, you know, man, when I dropped down on you, I was dropping down on your ass. Not to glorify nothing, but I was coming. You know what I'm saying? I was coming. You know, and Verdell said, you know, he stated on there, I've been in a gang fight, I ain't never been in one. You know, that's me, that's brother, just being brother. You know, I could be on Beale Street, and I could see some guys. I'm like, hey, brother, check this out. I'm finna dip. You go ahead and take the keys to the car. Man, nah, I said, nah, because I would have never been able to, you know, if something because of what I did in the streets, man. You know, and like you said, but he also states, man, when I seen my brother started going to jail, like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we was cool because, you know, we didn't miss my daddy, his dad, my daddy didn't miss a game. And when I came to the game, you know, you got to think this in the 80s. I'm talking about, I got trench coat, jewelry, silk shirt. You dig what I'm saying? I'm coming to the game like, you know, man, I'm supposed to be low key, but I'm around here, yeah, this is what I do after hours. You hear me? And it was wild. We was wearing dookie ropes and all kind of shit. But, you know, and everybody knew, you know, especially from White, when we come up there, that's his little brother and this and that, and the other, man. And we had, to me, I had a great one with him. And those are some of my great memories now when I got out, man, when he hugged me, said, man, I got my big brother back, man. And that picture that's the only one I was able to get with him, man, because I had went to one of his little things. He was trying to help people like me, you know, coming out of prison and who, you know, had, you know, thought they had ruined their life, and he was trying to steer people away from that. That was crazy how it lined up. But, you know, even when I got out of it to one of his programs that he had too. And I told him, I said, hey, man, we over here in Barnhart. Hey, man, when they going to start the work part? Because I cannot have no money coming in. See, trigger. Yeah. I need to do something, man, before I go get me go get a bag or something, baby. Come on. And, you know, that just be your mind to motivate you to continue to do right, you know. And no sooner after that, you know, the thing had some growing, but his intention was being to help people like me coming out of prison. That's what I took away from the video, man, that and the same thing like you're doing now. It's like, you know, to have that platform to be real, to share the things that he shared about me. You know,
I'm about to get emotional.
Yeah, so, you know, man, those are the last little things, and it's like all these different things. I don't never stop thinking about facing the future. I don't never think that it's too late, but it's like surrounding yourself with people like that. Yeah. And then it's not necessarily safe, but I kind of got my own little groove, and it doesn't include a whole lot of people. Yeah. You know, I still do a meeting, and you know, often. I talked to people just today. I talked to a guy, a friend. We got clean together. His name is Paul. We're going 30 some odd years, man. I talk to those old people because after you get clean, life changes when you don't put that drug in you. See, some of us gamble. Yeah. I don't go to the casino the way I used to no more. I got an addictive nature. I don't maybe personality, but I've always been all in. You dig what I'm saying? I'm going all out, Jack. However it comes out, that's just what the hell it's gonna be. So, now, like, I'm not reserved. I still think about it, but that body be like, well, maybe we'll do that next week. My brain will change to catch up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let me think about all the ins and outs. So, it's been a beautiful ride, but one of the best. It's been my life, and I'm gonna continue on this. Yeah. Whatever it is that's ailing you, because addiction is an ailment. They say once an addict, always an addict. I don't believe that. There's a lot of things that they say that you can't have a certain life if you continue to do. True enough. Yeah. There's institutions in death. But you find a way not to put drugs in you one day at a time. That's all you got. They'll tell you that one day at a time means that. Whatever I do today, be productive. Anything that stops you from being productive, you need to get it away from out of your life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Unc, for coming on. I really always enjoy our time together, and I almost feel like we should do a part 2, but I thank you.
Next time I'll take, for sure, Jay, give me what we're gonna talk about. So that way I see why you say do the pen and paper. See, I'm learning.
That's all right, Unc.
So I won't get off track.
That's
so
all
I know
right.
when to stop. You know what I mean? Like, okay, dang, you're getting off track. Pull me in sometime. Do what you need to. But I just get caught up in just telling my story. So.
That's all right. I'm so glad to have had you on. You shared so many good things, so much wisdom. And I just know that somebody was touched by your story today. So thank you for coming on, y'all. This is Beauty and Brains, Cognitions of the Creative, Season 3, Episode 6, National Recovery Month, which takes place in September. And y'all just heard what it's like to talk to my uncle on the phone. Y'all have a good one and stay tuned because I ain't done. Bye.